What's up, folks, and welcome back to Dyce Reacts. Well, we are staying in Australia tonight. Oh yeah, we are going to be checking out the truth about making friends in Australia. Very much checks one out. We ain't going to waste no more time. Just going to get right into it, folks. We're going to get right into it. Oh yeah.
In today's video, we're going to talk about something that not many people usually talk about when it comes to migrating to another country. And I think this is something so important that I wanted to cover it in one of my videos. And this is how to meet people and make friends in Australia. Believe it or not, meeting people and making friends is going to be one of the biggest challenges that you'll have during your migration journey to Australia. And surprisingly, this is not something that many people consider when migrating. We usually focus more on how to find a house, how to find a job, which are extremely important things, don't get me wrong. But making friends is equally as important as this. Making friends, especially as an adult, takes time and it is challenging. And I'm almost sure that if you're new to Australia, after you settle and you find your house and a job, you're going to start getting a bit homesick and missing your friends and family back home. And you're going to start having this feeling of wanting to find a community, and you're going to start wanting to meet people, making friends. And don't take my word for it. There are many studies that show that one of the biggest challenges for migrants is creating a social support network. And migrants are much more likely to feel lonely. And
Yes, this is so important, because if you don't have like a social network, even if it's small, it could affect you without you even knowing in your everyday life. So that is something people may overlook when they travel, but it is important for mental health as well. On the outside looking in, it may look to a point where like this is like superficial, it's not really that important, but in reality it is more important than people even think. Yeah, so that's a good point that you made there.
homesick, and this of course has an impact on your mental health. So what's the reason for this? Why making friends is such a big challenge for migrants? Well, one of the main reasons is culture shock or language barriers. If English is not your first language and you don't feel super comfortable in terms of your communication skills, you might feel a bit self-conscious about your accent or the way you talk, and this may impact your ability to communicate with others. So language barriers sometimes can impact your ability to make friends. Culture shock is another barrier that many migrants, when they come to Australia, face. And this is more about adapting to cultural differences and biases. For example, if you come to Australia from a country that has a very different culture, you might feel that it's hard to meet Australians or find similar interests. You're going to assume, and this is your bias, you're going to assume that you don't have similar interests or things in common, but you're wrong, and you'd be surprised. In my experience, the most meaningful friendships that I've built here in Australia are with people who are from completely different cultures. I'm originally from Argentina and I speak Spanish, but my best friends here are from China, India, the Netherlands, Australians. Completely different cultures, but we have so much fun together. When you get to know other cultures, when you interact with other people, sometimes this really opens your mind. The fact that you don't share the same culture, that doesn't mean that you're not going to get along. On the contrary. And did you know that research studies show that migrants who make friends with locals, for example Australians, have a much healthier and happier settlement in Australia? Why is this? Because by making friends with locals or people from other cultures, you start to get this feeling of belonging to a community. You feel happier. If you want to go camping, you have friends. You have people who want to share that experience with you. When you feel that you belong to a community, you feel less homesick, less lonely. So here's what I want you to take from this video. Making good friends when you are here in Australia is going to be one of the greatest challenges of your migration journey, but also one of the most important things you have to do to have an amazing migration experience. But how and where do you meet these people? Well, let's get started. The key to making good friends when you move to another country is to find like-minded people. People who share your same interests or similar interests and hobbies. And as I said before, you don't need to be from the same culture or country to have similar interests. So my first tip to making friends here is to join meetup groups. Meetup is a free online service that people use to organize activities and events with like-minded people. You just need to download an app called Meetup or check their website. Use filters based on your interests and your location, and you'll find that there are lots of activities for absolutely everyone. So, for example, you're into photography, you can join a meetup group to do a photography course or a photography tour around Melbourne. Sometimes this is free or you can pay a small fee. If you're into hiking or you like the outdoors, you can join meetup groups where you meet on Saturdays to go and hike up to the Australian forest or somewhere in your city or your state. If you like reading, you can join a meetup group where they have different book clubs. There are also weekly meetup groups for people who want to learn languages, and these are called language exchange meetup groups. I used to go to these different groups once a week. You meet up at a bar and you teach your language. For example, I speak Spanish, so I teach Spanish and someone else teaches me English or French. And I put meetup groups at the top of my list because this is the best way and the most effective way to really meet like-minded people. I have really good friends that I met through meetup groups.
Not a bad idea, the meetup groups, especially if that person was never someone that was a social person back in the country, because going into another country and you will always basically antisocial in your country, definitely I don't think it's going to be easier for them. So by doing it online, it's almost like a way to, like, I wouldn't say break the ice a bit, but at least it gives them a sense of belonging when they go to the meetup. It's going to be easier for them to have that discussion instead of trying to maybe like find a lot of I wouldn't say meaningless things, but trying to find a way to start a conversation. Is going to be way easier for them to actually mingle in that group.
Both international friends and Australians. I highly recommend meetup groups. Moving to another country is an amazing way to start a new hobby and do all those activities that you always wanted to do, but for some reason you didn't. And of course, starting a new hobby is an amazing way to meet people and make new friends. So, did you always want to learn salsa dancing? When you're here in Melbourne or in Sydney or Canberra, go and join a salsa dancing group. Go and take group lessons. Do you like gardening? Join a community garden group. Did you know that here most councils and suburbs have their own community gardens? Just join a Facebook group or check your council's website, and I'm sure that you'll find lots of community gardens around your area. Bonus tip, as I said, check out Facebook community groups. These are one of the best ways to find community groups of like-minded people and the different activities that you're interested in. Arts or outdoor and sports clubs are also an amazing way to meet people and make new friends. For this, usually most sports clubs or arts societies have a small annual membership fee. And again, if you want to find these clubs, my best advice is to join Facebook community groups, or if you are a student, talk to your university, because most of these clubs are university clubs. And let me clarify, you don't need to be a university student to join a university club. For example, in my case, I'm a rock climber. I do rock climbing and I love it, but I'm not a university student. I used to be, not now, but this doesn't matter. If I want, I can join the RMIT University Climbing Club for a small fee, and I have access to all their climbing and camping trips throughout the year. And this is an amazing way to meet other like-minded people. And this goes for any sports or arts activities such as dancing or acting. Working or volunteering are also great ways to meet other people. My first friends here in Australia were people from work, people from the office, my colleagues. When it comes to making friends with locals, in an office environment, I feel that's so much easier because you really get to spend a lot of time with them and get to know them. And that really opens up the opportunity to build those friendships. Some of my best friends here are from Australia, and they're the most loyal friends ever, to the point where I spent 2 Christmas Eves with the family of one of my Aussie friends from work, and they treat me like family. So I say that working or volunteering are really great ways to get to know locals, immerse yourself in the Australian culture.
Now she made a great point there. Now some people may say that volunteer work, why would they do volunteer work? You know what I mean? Because it doesn't pay. It's like just doing work for free. But there are so many benefits you could get out of it if you just take away the financial aspect. The friendship, socializing aspect is valuable. Sometimes we overlook if something doesn't involve financial gain, sometimes it may look like it's not beneficial. You know what I mean? But it's not the case. We have to look beyond just a financial aspect. And she is making some great points right there.
And build those friendships. The other option to make friends is shared accommodation. I need to be honest, this is a bit controversial because I do know many people who've had great experiences while sharing houses, and they've met amazing people who today they are really good friends. But I've also heard terrible stories about sharing houses. And if you get to make friends with your housemates, consider yourself very lucky. So keep your expectations low when it comes to making friends with your housemates, and try to meet people through other means, such as meetup groups, etc. This may come as a surprise or not, but here in Australia, if you just had a baby, you can actually join a mother's group. That is, you can access a mother support group, which is organized by your hospital and government, and it's a local group within your area. I have many.
So what about the fathers, man? What's about the fathers? There's no fathers group? Oh, man.
Friends who are moms or who just had babies, and these mother groups have been a great way to find a local support network of people who are going through a similar experience. So if you're in that circumstance, if you just had a baby, I highly recommend joining mother groups for that social support. Another way to meet people when you move to another country, when you come to Australia, is through existing friends. If when you move here you already know people or you already have friends, well, this is so much easier because you can create that social network very easily. Meeting people at university. This one is also a bit controversial because I haven't really met anyone who've made good friends at university here in Australia, and I include myself. I studied my bachelor degree and my master's degree here, and I haven't really been fortunate enough to make good friends through university. And everyone I know has had the same experience. I'll explain. There are many reasons for this, but one is that when you're studying at university, you usually have different schedules, different timetables, and different classes. So it's not that you really get to spend a lot of time with your same classmates. And that of course makes it harder to really get to know these people. I'm going to make another video about this, but usually when you're a university student or a TAFE student, you go to class, sometimes you are put into different groups, and when the class finishes, no one really stays for a chat. It's more usually, oh, bye, nice to meet you, see ya, and everyone gets up and go their own way. And for me as an international student, my first year here in Australia, that was a bit hard and a bit confronting. So looking back, my advice is that if you really want to make friends at university, you really have to make an effort. And this leads to my other tip. You need to be proactive. If you want to meet people and make new friends, you have to make an effort. You have to be proactive. If you're a university student, during your orientation week, talk to people. Ask them where they're from. Ask them about their story. Get to know them. Try to organize activities. If you're working, whether it is in an office environment or other work environment, talk to people, organize drinks. If your English is not great, try to work on it. But at the same time, don't be so self-conscious. We all have different accents and different English levels. Just talk. By talking, you will get to practice your English as well. If you're invited to different events or activities, say yes. Open yourself up. Try not to make excuses. Friendships are important and you have to nurture them. Don't forget that making friends is going to be one of the most important challenges that you'll have. And take my word, you'll want to make friends. You'll want to build that social network. Be proactive.
Yeah, she made a lot of great points there. And it's something people overlook when it comes to going in a country. I mean, if you're just visiting a country, you may not, that will not be at the top of your list to make friends. But if you're migrating there, and you plan on spending a long time living in that country, whether it's full-time or part-time, this is an aspect of life that's important, socializing. And if someone, you know, they were never a social person in their country, I don't see how it's going to change quickly for them in terms of being very sociable. So it's something that they may have more of a problem doing, but who knows, on the flip side it can be reversed, because the atmosphere can be very different. You know, people may think just because they have the finance to travel to a country and live in another country, that socializing and having friends is not really something that's important. But in the initial stages, it may not be so important. But when the everyday life starts to kick in, and the honeymoon phase of the country is over, you're gonna start, the loneliness is gonna kick in, the emptiness, and you may not even know it's because of lack of friendship, lack of a social like life, in terms of having friends and people that you can lean on to in hard times, or even in just good times, to celebrate important things, because it's needed. We are social creatures. You can't avoid something that's natural. And about the involuntary work, it's so good. I mean, if you're looking at it from a financial perspective, I know it's a turnoff, but it's helped build friendship, get better at your communication skills if that's what you're lacking, especially if you speak another language. If English is not your first language, certainly it's going to help you by being in a group. But sometimes they are the connection to something that's bigger, with friendship and maybe other ventures in life. So it's not just the initial stages you have to look at. You have to look at things in the long term. Yeah, she gives some good information and good tips. Some of the tips I overlooked, but she made a lot of great points in this video. If you want to see a long term, I should like to hit me over on Dyce Reactions and Music Reactions. This is where I'm going to be making my exits. Until next time, peace.